Today we're going to do lesson 4, Assembly Basics. Now, you're going to use Tutor 1 that you created in earlier in the last lesson, lesson 3. And you're going to create Tutor 2, and then you're going to take these two parts and you're going to create an assembly called the Tutor Assembly. So you're going to attach this to that. So we're going to learn a lot of stuff. You hopefully already saw the presentation that took place, the PowerPoint presentation. And I want you to also know that if we go to our Teams folder for Period 3 DDP or DDP, in the Files section, there is a Lesson 4 Parts folder. So you can, if your Tutor 1 was not created to the specific dimensions, you can download that. We're also going to be using the switch plate, and we're also going to be using the storage box and the CD case. And then there's, at the end, we're going to assemble a claw mechanism, and all the parts for the claw mechanism are all in here. So you can click on any of these and download them to your documents folder, so that when you are, you can create a folder called Lesson 4, just like I did. And then you can use all those parts when you need them. So when you need the Tutor 1 camera, if you didn't make yours correctly, you can use this one. Also, the switch plate that we made, if you didn't make the switch plate correctly, you can use this one too. Oh, and the CD case that was in Lesson 3 and the storage box, you can go ahead and download these and use these for when we assemble them together and fill up that storage box with the 25 CDs. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll close that up, and we will go to our SolidWorks program, SolidWorks 2016. All right, the 64 edition. We'll open this up. And while it's opening up, we'll look and see. Make sure you answer all these questions, the 5-minute assessment. You'll see that there's a switch plate. All right, so the first thing we're going to do, oh wait, no, I'm sorry. There's a, first thing we're going to do is create Tutor 2. And we're going to use the Getting Started Lesson 2 assemblies in the SolidWorks tutorials. So now that this is open, we can see our instructions on how to create this Tutor 2. All right, so we have our file, new, part, okay. Make sure that we have our tools, options. All right, make sure that we have our units set to the correct dimensions or correct units. So we document properties, units, and we want to make sure we're using millimeter gram per second. So click on that and hit OK. All right. Possibly you want to put up a grid or do any other stuff you might want to do. And under Help, we have SolidWorks tutorials. And Lesson 1 parts was create your first SolidWorks model, and that was the camera you made. Here is Lesson 2 assemblies. So we'll go ahead and open that up. And you read through this and follow the directions that are in here. All right, so we're going to create a base feature. And we want it to be 120 by 120. So we go under Sketch, Front Plane. Then we click on Sketch. And then we're going to draw a rectangle. And we're going to make this smart dimension it so that this is 120 millimeters, right? By 120 millimeters. All right, so that's right there. And then we're going to exit Sketch, it says. Go under Features, Extrude Boss Base, and we want this to be set to blind, and we want this to be a depth of 90 millimeters. So we go 90 millimeters, and then we can hit OK. All right, now we're going to select the fillet. We want a radius of 10. So we go to our fillet tool. We want to make sure we have a radius of 10, which we do. All right, we want full preview. We click on the lines. There's 1, 2, there's a line right there, and 3, 4. All right, and then we hit the check mark. So now we have this. So here we go. Let's go ahead right now and hit File, Save As, and we're supposed to put in a document. It's supposed to be Tutor 2. So we'll call that Tutor 2 and hit Save. Now we go to the next part. We're going to shell it. So it says select the front face. Here it is. And then we want to go into shell, which is right here. And we want this a thickness of 4 millimeters. 4 millimeters over here. Okay, we have face 1 selected. We could do shell preview, so we see the shell sitting there. That's a good setting to keep it on. We hit OK. And then it's saved the part as Tutor 2, but we're going to save now. So now we save it again, that we have this done correctly. Now we're going to create a lip on the part. All right, so we're going to zoom in the area to drag it apart. All right, so we can do a zoom in fit, or if you have the roller on your mouse, you could simply roll this up so that we get this area like this. So like you could use zoom to area, and you could click on it and then go, or you could just simply roll the mouse up and down to zoom into an area. Select the front face of the thin wall. So there, that's selected. Click Extrude Cut, which is right here. Click on Convert Entities, which is right here. And you'll see that it just produced this line right here with a little green box on it. Click on the front face again. Very important. Click on it again. So there we have it again. And now it says click on the offset entities. So now we have our offset entities over here. So now we're going to click on the next one. So we want to make sure this is 2 millimeters. All right. And we can click here. So this is outside, but we don't want it outside. Possibly it's inside on yours. What we could do is we could hit reverse. So reverse brings this yellow line inside. Now, if it was already in there, if the yellow line was already in there, you wouldn't hit reverse. But if it's out here, you hit reverse so that you want it to look like this. So then you click our OK. And it says you want to click Exit Sketch. Now it has here, we want a depth of 20 millimeters. So this cut extruded showed up because we already clicked on it. So we're going to change this to 20 millimeters. 20 millimeters. And then we hit OK. Oh, hit OK again. There. And that takes care of that. So if we look at this, it just made this cut extrude right here. And that's 20 millimeters in. All right. So it just created this lip on here. All right. All right, and that's it. So now you create it. So hit File, Save. So you just created Tutor 2. Now what it says here is you could change the appearance if you want to click on this over here. And select Tutor 2. What do we got here? We could have appearances in color. We could change color here. But this is you could play around with that. Oh, here we go. Painted. Pick a color. Here's red. So we can pick that. You can pick all different colors here. Yellow, purple. Let's see what we got here. Blue, green, pink. See, so we just made it pink. So we could do stuff like that. So you can play around with that for a while and check out the colors. It's not really important. You can pick any color you want. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to open, so we're going to file, save, and we're going to open Tutor 1. So what I was saying was we go to, if you don't have a good Tutor 1 or you can't remember or you delete it or whatever, we'll go to Tutor 1 and we'll download this, downloaded Tutor 1, and then we're going to copy this and then paste it in our documents. So just paste it in there. There's Tutor 1, there's Tutor 2. So I can click on this. And now here's Tutor 1, just like we had here, to the right dimensions. So now we're going to make an assembly using the Tutor 1 that we created and our Tutor 2 that we created. So we're going to File, New, Assembly, hit OK. And we want to have our things here, so we go Browse, and we go to Documents, and we look, here's Tutor 1. We'd open, and there's Tutor 1. We just, you see how it's stuck to our mouse? If we click somewhere, it'll drop it. So we'll just click, and now it's dropped there. And I'll scroll a little bit to give us a little bit of space. Now we're going to insert another component. We're going to Browse, and we go to Documents, and we click on Tutor 2, which you just created, and then we click and we drop this here. All right, so now we have these in here. We use our mates like in the PowerPoint presentation. So we're going to use coincident mates. So we're going to click here so you have nothing selected. Click mate. All right, and now what we want to do is our first one, we want a coincident mate. Okay, we want this lip right here that I selected to be connected to, I'm going to use my arrows to rotate this to this face right here. All right, and that moves things around. Now, just so you know, we'll hit the check mark here. Boink. All right, so just so you know, when you do this, yours isn't going to look exactly like mine because you could have your thing moving anywhere you want. Okay, anywhere you want. But what this did was it just lined it up. It just lined it up. And the best thing to do here is hit the check mark again so that you have this. So these are lined up together in a certain way so that they slide side by side. Now, that's the first mate. So now we're going to have, we're going to click up here. We're going to click mate. Make sure nothing's selected in here yet. And then we're going to click on, we want a coincident mate. We want this face to be selected to this face. All right, so now it's starting to line up. So we have this when we look. So that means these two faces are kind of connected here. And then we could check it again. So I could do this without checking it so that we can do 1, 2, 3. But a lot of students get confused and they mess up their mates and then they have a lot of errors and they have to start over from scratch. So as long as you do it one step at a time. Now look at this. Now this is locked in. It can only go up and down because these two are side by side. And these two, I can't move it side by side, just up and down. So the last one we're going to do, I don't want to be selected like that. I'm going to click here so there's nothing selected. Last third mate, I click on this top, and I click on this top, and look what happened. All locked in. And then I go check, check, mate, and now this is my assembly. So now what you're going to do is you're going to File, Save As, and we want this to be Tutor assembly. So you might want to do your name. Mine is Mr. Noon. Tutor assembly. All right, and then I save this. You Yeah, okay, good, it's saved. And now remember to submit this. We're gonna make a drawing from assembly. So I click on that. And I pick one that looks nice. This one's nice. I put this here. Okay. And remember, I like to make it a little bit, so I'm going to use a custom scale. This is 1 to 5. I might want to do 1 to 2. That looks great. Okay, so I'm going to say that's great. And then I'm going to do a note. I'm going to type in my name, Mr. Noon. You type your name there, obviously. Do your font any way you want. Hit OK. Oh, this didn't look so good because there was a thing here, a company thing. So I'm going to do a note. I'm going to do this here, Mr. Noon, and then I'm going to hit OK. Right? I'm going to hit File, Save. See what it says, Mr. Noon Tutor Assembly. I saved that in my documents like I wanted. Then I'm going to hit File, Print, and I want to make sure that I print this to OneNote for Windows 10. And I hit OK. And then we're going to see OneNote opens here. And then when I go to OneNote, I want to make sure I'm in DDP. And you could put it in your handouts like you do. I'm going to put this in my content library, handouts, and then I'm going to hit OK. And then you'll see there it is. It's been put in here. All right, so you're gonna do this with all your assemblies and all your parts that you created. So you have your Tutor 2 should have been printed to OneNote. And now let's get on and see what else we have to make here using boom. So now that we did this, all right. So once again, we have our switch plate. We're gonna make a couple screws to go in a switch plate, and then we're gonna mate them. So we have to make this this screw. So let's go ahead and do that real quick, and then we're going to you can get the switch plate with the correct dimensions off the Microsoft Teams. So we have here our files, and there's a switch plate, but the screw you're going to have to make. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. All right, let's File, New, Part. Okay, we're done with this. Done with this over here. So now we have the full thing in here, and we use the dimensions from our sheet here. All right, so we want to have a circle with a diameter of 8 millimeters. So let's go ahead and do that. Get rid of this. Save all, sure. All right, so now we got our new part. We're going to go on a front plane. We're going to go Sketch, Dimension, Circle. Right here in the middle, make it 8 millimeters. Smart dimension. All right, 8 mm. Okay, so we have this in millimeters. And remember, we hit OK. If this isn't right, you go to Tools. You go down to Options. So if it's in inches or something like that, in the Document Properties, Units, and then make sure that it's in millimeters, grams per second, and then hit OK. All right, so that's there. Okay, now we're going to feature extrude this. All right, and we want this to be, this is 3 millimeters of thickness here. So let's go back to here. We have 3 millimeters. Okay. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to look at our front plane. We want to click on this face. We want to hit Sketch. We want to get a rectangle. We want to do a center rectangle, and we want to come out like this, extra wide. Now we want to make sure that this is 2 millimeters, and then it's only going to be 1 millimeter depth. So we go like this. We go, all right, smart dimension, 2 millimeters. Okay, we hit OK, and then we go over features, extrude cut, and we want this to be 1 millimeter, 1 millimeter cut into it. We hit OK, And then you'll see, look at this. Okay, there's a 1 millimeter cut right there. See that? All right, something else we could have done here is we could have rounded the edges first. So we could have done that with our fillet. And it doesn't really tell us what the round edges will be, but let's go with fillet. We click on this face here, and we want that to be maybe this is 3, so we probably want this to be 0.5. Let's try that. Let's take a look. That looks great. 0.5. So then we hit it right here. Let's go ahead and click on this and this, and then hit the check mark. All right, so now we got this fillet on the sides. That's nice. All right, now we're on the front. We want the back. So this was front. Let's go to the back. Oh, that's not back. Back. And then we click on this face. We do sketch. Pick circle. We go to the middle. And we make this one 3.5. Like the dimensions say, smart dimension. 3.5 millimeters. Hit the check mark. Okay. Check mark. Exit. Extrude boss base. And then this is 15. So we're going to go 15 here. 15 millimeters. 15 millimeters. Let's take a look at it. All right. So that's what it looks like. We hit the check mark. All right. So now what we want to do is we want to chamfer this. We want to pick this circle right here, and we've got 45, and we want to full preview so we can see what we're doing here. We could just let's go 5. No, this is 15, so let's go 2 millimeters. Click here, see what it looks like. That doesn't show anything. Let's go 1 millimeter. So this is what we get. So 1 was too short. We do 1.5. So let's go edit, undo. I'm going to do the same thing. Chamfer. This guy. Let's do 1.5. Oh, that's great. Then we hit OK. There you go. So now you have your bolt done. File. Save as. Let's see. What are we supposed to save it as? Fastener, I think. Fastener. So save as fastener. All right, and then save it, and then I'll show you how to make the assembly from these. Okay, now that we created this fastener, now we're gonna get our switch plate, and we're going to create an assembly with the switch plate and the fastener. We'll call it switch plate fastener assembly. So we come over here and we go File, New, Assembly, OK. And then we want to browse, and we want to find, let's see in documents if I have this downloaded, the switch plate that we downloaded from Teams. Open that up. All right, there it is. You click on it. And then we're going to insert the component, the fastener. There you go. It's right there. We have our measurements done correctly, hopefully. And what we're going to do is we're going to mate. And the first thing we want to do is get the outside of the fastener and the inside of the hole. And we want to then do the faces together, and then we're going to do a parallel mate between the top of the switch plate and the groove on the fastener. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so we want the inside of this with the outside of that. You see that puts that right there, and we go OK. And then we want the face of this, and we're going to turn this around and get the inside face right there. So that goes right there. And then we hit OK. And then the last one we want to go is we want a parallel mate. We want the top face here with the inside face there, and that's already put in. And then we get OK, and then we get OK, and now we have this mated in there. All right, just right. So now we're going to do this again. We're going to insert component. We're going to do another fastener. So there's another one. We click there. And then we're going to do the same thing again where we go mate. We want the inside of this to the outside of that. That lines that up. We hit OK. We want the face of this to be with the face of that. And we hit OK. And then there's a possibility. Let me do this so I can show you. I think, see, this could be turned around on yours. So yours might not be already aligned like mine. So now we have this. So now we're going to do a mate. And you'll see this now. So once again, we're going to pick the top horizontal. We want parallel. Top horizontal. To the inside, I'm going to use the arrows to do that. So any of them, because it's circular, symmetrical. So I click there and see that just turned right there like that. So now we go, and that's it. And we hit the mark, and now you can see that this has been done. And we hit File, Save As. Then we want this to be our switch plate fastener. All right, we hit OK, save it. Then we make a file, make drawing from assembly. Make sure we have the correct one selected here. We hit OK. We pull over one that looks nice, like this. We make sure that we have a decent size here, like that looks great. We hit OK. We hit A note, and we click here, and we go your name. Your name. All right, you pick whatever font you want, all the rest of that, and then you hit OK, and then you hit File, Save As. Make sure it's in your documents. You can put your name on there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to file, print, and we want to make sure we want to print the OneNote. Hit OK. OneNote opens up, and then we want to make sure that we find the correct class, and then we want to put it in our handouts in our own section, and then there you go. It pops right up, and there you go. And then you change the name of it and you put it in there. So now we have 2 assemblies put up there, and you can just go ahead and watch the rest of this video to do our CD case and CD storage box using the same ones that we had in our Microsoft Teams folder for the Lesson 4 resources. And then you're going to go ahead and create this claw, and then you go ahead and complete these questions, and then you're done with this assignment.
Next thing we're going to do is we're going to make an assembly from the CD storage box, and the CDs that we have in here. Final product should look like this. So what we want to do is we want to open up, here's my CD storage box, and over here is my CD case. So let's look at the CD storage box. We can do an isometric view just to take a view of it. Hopefully you got your dimensions right on it, and we will file, make an assembly from this part, and we just click, and here's our storage box. Then we're going to insert a component, and that's the CD case. And I add that, so now I have both things in here. So I'm going to hit mate, and when I mate, I'm going to click the bottom of the box with, I'll zoom in here, the bottom of the CD. So that's mated together. And then I'm going to pick the back of the box with the back of the CD case and hit OK there. Oops, zoom out a little bit. So I can still slide this back and forth. I'll put this right in the middle, and I will put this on a front view, slightly sideways. And something I'm going to want to do now is I'm going to want to hit I want to do 10 millimeters. 10 millimeters. I'm going to put a mate on this face, and then move this over and do it on this face, and that slides right in there. I'm going to double click that in there, and you can see that my CD case is right in here. This is a space of 1 centimeter or 10 millimeters. Now I'm going to do the linear pattern. I'm going to, for this direction here selected, I'm going to come right up here to the edge, and I could see this arrow right here pointing to the right, and that's the direction I want it to be pointing. I want to make sure that this number is 25, because I want 25 CD cases. And what we're going to do is we're going to pick a pattern, and you can see that 6 centimeters fits perfect. If I put 5 millimeters, they're kind of all stuck together. If I put 10 millimeters, they're spread out too far. So what I want is I want to work with a little bit, make it fit. So 6 millimeters. So here I have 25 boxes in here, and we hit OK. And there it is. There's my CD case. My storage box has 25 CDs in there. I probably could put in 26 if I wanted. So I hit File, Save, and I'm done with that. Okay, so we only have, what's left here is our mechanical claw. So we're going to pull up the center post and get the collar. We're going to mate those together. We're going to put all these pieces together to make our mechanical claw. So let's go to SolidWorks, File, New, Assembly. We want to browse our parts. Or DDP. All right, so we have our claw. So the first thing we're going to want is our center post. There we go, just drop it somewhere. Then we're going to insert a component, browse, same folder. We want our collar, open, put it somewhere. All right, so we're going to mate. We want this post and the inside of this collar, and there you go. Hit OK, hit OK again, and you can see we have it mated together. So this is mated. It's a concentric mate, so it's fitted on there. And this is where we want it to be able to move up and down, but we don't want it. We don't want it to be stuck against the pole. We want it to be able to just slide in the same the same layer. All right, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to bring in the claw piece. So we have an insert component, browse to our folder, and we have our claw piece here. And just put it right there is fine. And what we want is we want to mate. We want to do a couple mates here. First thing is we want the inside of this circle to be concentric with the inside of this circle. Here, okay? And we want this side to be mated to this side, but we're going to want to flip this. So right here we have a flip. We hit OK. So now we have this attached just like this. So this is together, it's attached. Pop this up. Hit OK. All right, the next piece we're going to want is our connecting rod. So insert component, browse, connecting rod, open. Place this right here. Now this is the same on both sides, so it doesn't have to be in a specific order. We're going to have a mate, and we're going to have this circle concentric with this circle. And we hit OK. We get OK again so that we can get this moved around specifically. And now we want to do a mate. Get rid of this. We don't want that. Delete. We want this circle to be mated with this circle here. Concentric. Okay? And we're going to want this face to be mated with, spin this around, this face. Hit OK. And we want this face, spin it around, to be mated with this face. We hit that twice. All right. So now we have these all joined together. So even though we don't have our bolts in here or our pins, because we mated them, they're all attached in there anyways, as if they do have pins within them. So we can open this up so that when we bring the pins in, it'll be a lot easier to do that. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we have 3 types of pins, and we're going to insert a component, browse. We're going to, why don't we start with, we'll bring all 3 pins in. We'll bring in a long pin, insert component, browse, bring in a medium pin, and insert component, bring in a short pin. So if we look at this, we want the pins to fit in here just perfect. So we could probably see right off the bat that our thickest distance for the long pin will be between these two spots right here. So let's start with our long pin, and we're going to hit mate, and we're going to have a concentric between this circle and this circle. All right, and we can flip the alignment, hit OK, because we're going to want this to go through the other side. And we can see that it fits just perfect. This goes in the hole. Fits just perfect in there. So what we want to do now, we'll pull this out some more, is we want to do a mate. We want this edge with this edge, and you can see our pin fits flush, fits perfect. All right, so that was the long pin. We'll hit OK here. So now we got two more pins. There's our medium pin, and here's our short pin. I would say the short pin goes here. So let's do a mate. We want a concentric. We want the outside ring of that one. Move this over a little bit with the inside ring of that one. And that's facing the right direction, so we can just hit OK. And we want the ring here. Move this around to be flush there. Hit OK. And we could see that this pin is flush, so we got that one in the right place. And the last one is going to be, we hit mate. We want this to be concentric with this. Hit OK. It's in the right direction. So now we want this ring, zoom out, to be flush with this. And then we hit OK. And we can see that this is flush. So there's our three pins. We hit mate again. Our three pins are in our spaces the way they should be. And we hit OK. So we have that assembled. Now we could simply just bring in a claw, connecting rod, and the three pins and do this on this side and on that side. We do it three ways. But what we're going to do is we're going to do a circular pattern, a circular component pattern. And we want two extra pieces. We want them to be 120 degrees, it says. With three pieces total. And we pick our we want this to be around the axis. We're looking for view temporary axis display. Let's close this for a second. So view, display, temporary, hide show. Okay, here we go. Oh, there's our temporary axis right now. All right, so now that we have our temporary axis, we can go back to our circular pattern. All right, so we want this to revolve around temporary axis right there. We want this 3, so you can see that this is starting to appear for us. 120 degrees. Components, we don't want the center post. We want this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, and that guy. All right, so we have all three of these. So this we want this to be 120 degrees. 2 0 1 2 0. Okay, and then we hit OK, and we just duplicated this in the 3 dimensions. So we hit File, Save. You can see we can move this, move these down, and this moves back and forth. Our claw works just fine, and we're done.